very Friday. But there are big questions that we must begin to now answer, especially now that investigations have started into what really happened. Let's settle and let's begin to ask those hard questions, because one of the things we must say to ourselves, never again. And if we're going to say never again, then we must ask ourselves the hard questions quickly and find solutions and build back better as far as we handle and deal with such emergencies are concerned. A few things went wrong, and we'll go into greater detail as far as that is concerned. But where are we tonight? The black box, thank goodness, has been retrieved, because overnight, we know the authorities left the scene unsecured until 24 hours later, and anything could have happened, but they managed to secure the black box, so that is good. Forensic analysts, we know, have now completed. The bodies have been analyzed. We now know the various individuals from the analysis, even that itself, we didn't have the capacity to do it here, to fly it abroad, and a few additional forensic work still remains to be done. We also know that board of inquiry have now been set up to look into this. There are questions about the board and its terms of reference. One of my guests will pose those questions. The Armed Forces and the Civil Aviation Authority, we understand, are on site. The Civil Aviation Authority is an interesting one because they have a very elaborate rescue manual that should have governed the immediate aftermath of the flight going down or getting lost from the radar. Was that activated? Is a fundamental question we'll ask tonight and seek some answers to. We also know that there is a cash reward now because the crash site was not properly secured. In fact, it wasn't secured. Residents who had, some of them had just gone in there to try and help, contaminated the site, and they took away some of the very vital parts of the aircraft, which will be crucial to the investigations. And as a result of which, a cash reward was offered for people to bring these items back for a reward. As we speak tonight, we know that many have returned the items, and that is a good thing. The research team here have been doing some analysis, because you remember that we had a reporter at the scene, the first reporter at the scene. What we did was to take coordinates of the crash site, and this is what we've used for this analysis. Now, we know from the Ghana Armed Forces' own statement that the flight left Accra at 12 minutes past 9, right? And it would have taken, if you calculate the journey time to the venue of the anti-Galamsey event where we had a reporter, it would have taken a short, 1 hour to get to his destination, which is what you have there. Should have arrived at 10:12. If you left here at 10:12, should arrive at 10:12, right? The estimated time of 1 hour. We know that didn't pan out exactly that, because at 10:12, the scheduled arrival time, that didn't pan out as we know. It was just before 2 that the Ghana Armed Forces issued a statement and told us that they've lost their aircraft, the helicopter, on their radar. That is 3 hours later. That is not to suggest that was a time that they discovered this. They would have known for quite a while, hours before we all knew that something had gone wrong. It's not possible that they didn't see it gone off radar until 3 hours later. They knew this. The question is, when did they discover that it's gone off radar, and did they trigger the very elaborate rescue protocols that the document that we're going to be talking about talks about and lays out the uncertainty period, the distress period? Did they activate all those very important elements of that? And if they did, what did they really do in terms of the actions that must be taken once you render that assessment? So that's a key thing that we'll be asking. And then around 2:20 thereabout, the government confirms that we've had fatalities in this particular crash. So that's the trajectory of things that happened. Now, we know that the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority search protocol is something that we had put in place. It has been revised. 1st of November 2008 was there. The first thing they needed to do, if they were activating this, was no communication with aircraft within 30 minutes. You activate, right? That's the first thing you should have done. The aircraft has failed to arrive within 30 minutes of ETA. Again, you need to begin putting this in place to search, locate, rescue, if you can, very immediately. Also, we know that investigations team, though, in spite of the very strict timelines for taking action, nobody arrived there in terms of the proper forensic investigations team to secure the crash site until after 24 hours. And we saw the videos. They arrived there sometime in the morning, the day after the crash, and military men in uniform, some of them with the cameras, and of course cameras were you're needed when you're doing forensic, crash site forensics, talking about to move in. They didn't even go in military vehicles completely. So questions obviously all over. We took way too long to get there to the site when a journalist walked hours in there with the first, not calling them first responders, just, farmers who wanted to help, right? So that is a very critical gap there, and we need to look at why that happened. And if you look at the map here, the Ghana Air Force bases that we know, there are few of them. There's one in Takoradi, we had one in Accra, Josie, we had one in Tamale, right? So which one was closest, and which one obviously had resources to deploy for the search? It's a big question. I mean, that we need to ask. Of course, this middle belt here is quite empty. It's a question that, again, we've asked. Is it time now to look at positioning the Ghana Air Force properly to deal with emerging threats and distress moments like this? Past incidents, plenty of them. There are plenty of past incidents involving Ghana Air Force helicopters. So this is not, unfortunately, an isolated incident. We've known for a while that our aircraft that we have outmoded. We need to retool the Ghana Air Force, but we haven't done so, right? For whatever reason, it hasn't been done. But you can count so many of them all the way 2015 to 20. I can just go through it for you. There's so many of them that we've had. False landings, crashes, you had them all. And this obviously is the most devastating, if you like. The gravity of it, the individuals involved, it shook the nation to its core, but it's been coming, if you like. As painful as it is for you to say that, it's been coming. We know that an aircraft was not one. It's been too long. The service condition, it raises a lot of questions. My guest will join me. This is just one part of it. There are many areas of this investigation that needs to be looked at. And as a country, we need to be asking ourselves those hard questions. The reason why this has happened, many will tell you, is because when all these incidents happened in the past, what did we do? What did we do to ensure that this didn't happen? What did we do? It's a fundamental question. This time, as I said at the beginning, we must tell ourselves, never again.